Hello and welcome to Total Health with Dr. Nick, where my purpose is to inspire, empower, and motivate you to live longer, healthier, and of course, more abundant lives. In today's video, I want to talk to you about building muscle on keto. Is that even possible? I know you're thinking, well, wait a minute. There's a lot of factors here. You're not getting enough carbs. Do you get enough protein? I don't know if this can work. Well, guys, I'm here to tell you that you can do it. I know people that we're bodybuilding, getting in shape for competitions, and they're eating upwards of 200 to 300 grams of protein. You don't have to do that on this. Also, maybe 300 grams of carbs. You definitely don't want to do that on this. So guys, I'm here to tell you, you can do it. On the keto diet, you can build muscle. It actually works extremely well. So if you watch to the end, I'm going to give you all the tips you need to know how to do this. I'm going to give you the tricks. So like I said, watch to the end. And of course, if you like what we're talking about, make sure you like, you share, you comment, and subscribe. But before we dive in, I want to give a shout out to Mary. Mary sent me the most amazing testimonial, and this is from Mary Speedy. Thank you so much, Mary. Dr. Nick, I'm 66 years old. Well, first of all, God bless you for doing keto at 66 years old. I started doing keto, way of eating, in January, and I've lost 38 pounds. You rock. You rock. A major achievement for me. I've been hypothyroid all my life, so weight loss has always been difficult. How many of you can relate to that? You've been told you're hypothyroid, your thyroid shot, maybe you had part of it removed and you can't lose weight anymore, and you're thinking, that's my lot in life. Well, Mary has proven all of you wrong, and she's an inspiration to many. Get this, my A1C went from 5.5 down to 5. My cholesterol levels also went down. My knees that have been severe with arthritis are not hurting me anymore. My blood pressure also went down. Mary, you're going, everything is just dropping here. This is awesome. Due to my normal levels of systolic was 142, now it's 119. I started at 201. You imagine at 201 pounds, she's now currently at 163 pounds. Mary, she writes, I'm not sure how much more I need to lose. Well, I'll tell you what, Mary, you're doing everything right. You are, like I said, a true inspiration to so many. And I will tell you what, you know what that makes you, right? That makes you a keto rock star in my book. So thank you so much. You rock, all right? So let's go ahead and dive on in with the first part of this video. Now, the myths. Well, I know you've been told, well, I can't build muscle on keto because you don't have the carbs. Well, it is true. A lot of people realize that carbs are a very anabolic type of food to have in your body because it makes your body secrete insulin. Insulin is a very anabolic hormone, which means it builds things, okay? So because of the fact you're on keto and you're not taking in so many carbs, your carb levels are going to drop your insulin levels. So you think, well, I can't really build muscle because I'm not in an anabolic state. You also may think, I'm going to lose muscle mass. I'm not getting enough protein, Dr. Nick. Because I'm not getting enough protein, I'm going to lose muscle mass. I don't know if I should do this keto diet. How many of you are thinking that out there? I'll lose my strength. Once I start to shrink, I know people start to, when they do keto, they start to lose weight. And next thing you know, I'm not going to have the weight to push weights. So I'm not going to get as strong. I'm going to lose performance. I'm going to lose my athletic ability. And I'm definitely going to, like I said, decrease performance and in competition, wherever it may be. So let's talk about some of these previous beliefs and where they maybe came from. Well, true. Like I said, carbs increase the release of insulin, and insulin is an anabolic hormone. So because it's anabolic, it will cause things to grow, opposed to cortisol, which is a catabolic hormone that causes things to break down. By the way, testosterone is also an anabolic hormone that causes things to become built. If blood sugar levels get too low, the body will break down muscle to stabilize blood sugar. Well, that was a myth I believed for a long time, because if the blood sugar gets too low, your body's going to want to take protein and break it down and put it through a process called gluconeogenesis, which means it's going to take the protein and actually make glucose because our glucose is too low. So we're just going to break down protein. We're going to break down muscle. So why even bother? I'm going to lose muscle mass, right? How many of you think that? Well, like I said, I'm here to tell you that's mistaken. Actually, gluconeogenesis is a demand-driven process. It's not a supply-driven process. It's driven by more demand, and we talked about that on one of my previous videos. So go back and watch that. Anyway, What we now know is this: we don't need as much carbs as long as you're getting adequate calories. So as long as you're getting adequate calories, your body doesn't look at it like, well, we need to fuel from carbs. Instead, it looks at fatty acids for fuel. It looks at your fat. So I hear a lot of people telling me, Dr. Nick, I'm new on this keto thing, and next thing you know, I'm getting all this brain fog. You've got brain fog because your body isn't used to burning fats for fuel yet. You're not fat adapted. You're still looking for sugar, glucose for fuel. So as a result, your blood sugar drops a little bit, you get brain fog, you get the keto flu, because your body's not looking at fat reserve yet as a potential fuel source. Once it does, you're never going to get low blood sugar again, okay? That's nothing you're going to have to worry about later on. And if it does drop a little bit and gluconeogenesis does kick in, it's very, very mild, okay? In ketosis, minimal carbs are needed to grow muscle. So once again, we'll talk about that in a little while. Beta-hydroxybutyrate is extremely important. It's one of the best ketones your body can make, and we're going to talk about how it's very muscle sparing. In fact, it could help synthesize muscle. Now, next, what is the truth? The truth is the ketogenic diet actually helps increase lean muscle mass. So did you know that you could actually burn fat and build muscle at the same time? I hear people all the time telling me, Dr. Nick, well, first, I got to get to the gym and I need to lose some weight first. I mean, how many of you are thinking that out there? I've got to lose the weight first, then I could start building the muscle. No, the amazing thing is how the ketogenic diet works. You could actually lose the fat at the same time you're building muscle. So it never made sense to me. So if you guys are thinking that, that's a myth. Go to the gym, start exercising, lose the fat while you're building muscle, okay? Protects against muscle wasting. Turns out that beta-hydroxybutyrate, and by the way, there are different ketones in the body, all right? And beta-hydroxybutyrate is the one you're going to test when you're doing a blood test, okay? So that's the one I recommend Keto Mojo about all the time. So when you guys see me put the link for Keto Mojo, which I'll put below, it's the best place to buy a blood glucose monitor and a blood ketone monitor. They're the cheapest, and they are by far the best. So I highly recommend you get that so you can see if you're producing beta-hydroxybutyrate. And just so you know, the range you want to be in is 0.5 to about 3. That's the range you want to be in. And 0.5 is right at the beginning of ketosis, and 0.3 is about, 3 is about as high as you want to get. So 0.5 to 3 on the high scale. Prevents fat and weight gain. So once again, you lose fat because your body believes and uses fat for a fuel source at this point. Increases strength and performance. Once again, when you start to produce more lean muscle mass, your performance levels go up. Your body also helps to reduce inflammation. The ketogenic diet also helps reduce inflammation, helps your joints. Once again, in one of my previous videos I talked about how beta-hydroxybutyrate present in the ketogenic diet also helps with joint pain. So inflammation in the joints, beta-hydroxybutyrate is really fantastic at eliminating that. Improves oxygen efficiency. So once again, your body's utilizing oxygen better. Do you ever notice as you're going through the day, you start to get winded? By the end of the day, you're just really tired all the time? It's because your body's not utilizing oxygen very well. So you got to get to working out to where you're utilizing oxygen better. Controls blood sugar. Once again, if you're keeping your insulin levels in check, because of the fact that the ketogenic diet helps with insulin resistance, your body will help with diabetes better. So it keeps diabetes in check. Improved hormonal response. Healthy fats go to make healthy hormones, okay? You need the fats. You need especially cholesterol to make hormones. Hormones are necessary for muscle growth, especially testosterone and growth hormone, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. Improved recovery time. Now, that's a big one. Many of you don't want to go to the gym again because you're thinking, I'm still hurting from the first go-round. I don't want to go back. I'm hurting too much. My joints are sore. Well, if you're doing the ketogenic diet and the beta-hydroxybutyrate, once again, it helps your body heal faster and recover faster, and you have a much shorter recovery time. Instead of being sore all the time, you want to get back in the gym right away and start exercising. And by the way, when I say building muscle, this whole video is about that. I'm not talking that you have to compete in the Mr. Olympia contest or the Mr. Universe or Mr. or Mrs. America, things like that. That's not what it has to be about. And certainly if you want to compete, you could do the ketogenic diet. There's a lot of very well-known bodybuilders who are switching to that. But if you just want to get in shape, that's what it's about. You want to be in shape. You want good functional fitness, so that way you don't pull a muscle just getting up to walk from the couch to the refrigerator. All right, you don't want your exercises to just be sitting there playing with the remote doing thumb exercises. You want to have nice lean muscle mass so it looks good, you feel good, your body's a functioning, fat-burning metabolic machine. That's really what you want. So, first of all, be patient. You've got to give your body time to convert. It's not used to this. It's not used to, once again, using fat for fuel. So give it time. You don't have the right metabolic processes that are happening. You're not fat adapted. Maybe your enzymes aren't all in check yet. It's like when somebody asks me, hey, can I do the ketogenic diet if I don't have a gallbladder? Well, of course you can do it. You don't need a gallbladder to do the ketogenic diet. But wait a minute, the gallbladder is what makes bile. No, it's not. The liver makes the bile. The gallbladder just stores it. It stores it and concentrates it. But your liver can make adequate amounts of bile, but you have to let it ramp up a little bit. I did a whole video on how to do the ketogenic diet without a gallbladder. So give your body time to start adapting to fats for fuel. So yes, at first you might notice decreased performance. Of course you will. You'll notice some fatigue, some strength, decreased motivation. You're not going to feel as strong. You might have brain fog. Once again, people call that keto flu. I did a video on that. You can go back and watch how to beat keto flu. But yeah, you're going to experience these things. And you're going to lose some water weight. Right off the bat, you start losing water weight and you're thinking, wow, I'm losing weight. Turns out, because your body's not holding as many carbs, it doesn't hold as much water, okay? So that's typically the case there. So expect this. Don't worry about it. Don't think, oh my gosh, I can't get through this. You know, when you're going through a tough time, you know what you do? You keep on going, okay? You just keep going, you blast through it, and then you have that victory at the end. That's the best thing. You know, a lot of times I do motivational talks on self-esteem. Self-esteem has to come from a victory that you took, that you went through, that you hit that hard time and you blasted through it. You went over the wall, around the wall, through the wall, under the wall, whatever you did, but you got around it and you got past it. So get past this and then you'll see the benefits. Next, strength train regularly, all right? You've got to do different types of training. I did a video on high-intensity interval training, HIIT training. Go back and watch that. It's a great video on how to increase your intensity and shorten your time. A lot of you are thinking, I don't have the time to work out, Dr. Nick. I don't have hours at a time to go to the gym. Hey, I don't either. I've got my practice. I'm seeing patients regularly. I've got about 45 minutes to work out, and that's all I've got, and that's all I really want. I don't want to be at the gym too much longer than that. I'm not that social. So strength train regularly. Do 2-3 times a week, depending on what your goals are. Are you just looking to get functionally fit? Are you just looking to tone up, get some muscle tone, get some lean muscle mass? Or are you trying to get to where you might want to compete in a fitness or bodybuilding competition? Know what your goals are, know what you're doing it for, and then you can adapt the type of training to that. Are you going to work out 2 to 3 times a week with weights? Heavy resistance weight? Are you going to go light? Are you going to go heavy? More or less reps? It just depends what you're looking for. If you want to build a lot more muscle, you might have to lift heavier weights for that. You might have to mix it up, go some lightweight to heavier weight and just keep mixing it up, and that way you can shock your body and cause muscle confusion. Muscle confusion is a way we train so that way your body doesn't get used to the same type of style. But you may want to work out 2 to 3 times a week and do cardio a couple of times a week on those opposite days, okay? Once again, you can also do different types of training. Highly recommend weight training. And I know a lot of you are thinking, well, wait a minute, I'm 66 years old like Mary. I don't know if I can weight train at this point. Well, I highly encourage you to weight train. And once again, it doesn't have to be too heavy, but it's got to be something that you're actually moving your joints, putting weight on your body, because what happens is as we start to age, you lose muscle density and you lose bone density. And there's a law called Wolff's Law that states that whenever you put an increased stress on the body, increased weight, for example, your body adapts to that. So it adapts by building bigger, thicker bones. It helps to build more muscle. Now, ladies, you're not going to get like guys. You're not going to, get huge shoulders and guns, and you're not going to have big chest. Don't worry about that. You don't have the right hormones to make that. You've got about 1/10 of the amount of testosterone that guys have. So you ladies are just going to get in shape and be really, really good shape. But you're not going to get big like guys, even if you go heavy with the weights. So don't worry about that. So, like I said, different types of training, mix it up. Now, make sure you're getting enough calories. You know what, like I said, your body, if muscle growth is your primary goal, eat at or above your caloric level. So if you want to take in 2,200 calories a day and you're trying to build muscle, you might have to boost it up to say 2,400. You might have to go 200 or 300 calories more if you're trying to build muscle, okay? So don't starve your body. Your body will not grow if you're trying to starve it. So make sure you're getting more calories, but make sure that you're getting from good quality sources, such as high quality fats and high quality protein. Do not get it from more carbs. Don't increase your carbs. All right, you don't want to increase your carbs. In fact, this is the way I calculate my macros. Since you want to burn fat, you've got to keep your carbs low. Some of you have seen this from a previous video. All right, 3 simple steps, 3 simple points to figure out your macros. I get this question all the time. Number 1, keep your carbs low. Keep them to 20 grams or less. Now, if you're, pretty fat adapted and your body's used to burning fat, you could up your carbs a little bit, up them to maybe 50 or so, but you want to make sure you're not putting on more fat. So keep them at 20. That's an easy number to use, and that'll be very low, and your body will get into ketosis faster. Number 2, calculate your protein. Now, you calculate your protein by figuring out your lean body mass. So I'm just going to give you an example. Say I weigh 170 pounds, and I'm 15% body fat or 12% body fat, and then I multiply the 170 times 0.12, I get a number. I'm not trying to confuse you guys, but you could do the math. Just figure out if I'm 170 pounds, when I take away my fat mass, which is about 12%, I end up at about 149 pounds, okay? You see that? 170 down to about 149. If I then take that 149, that's my lean body mass, okay, minus my fat, okay? What I then do is take that and multiply it times 1. So on the upper end for me, if I get 149 grams of protein a day, that's the upper end. Now, I don't typically go that high. I go a little bit lower than that. But like I said, you multiply 1 times your lean body mass. Now, if your lean body mass is 100, maybe you're 125 pounds and 25% of that or so is fat, you might be down to 100 pounds just for round numbers. At 100 pounds, and maybe you're not as highly competitive building muscle, you can multiply times 0.5 and use that number. Now, it's important to note, because your body has a lot of beta-hydroxybutyrate, it is very muscle sparing, so you don't need a lot of protein. I know guys that are getting ready for competitions that are eating 200-300 grams of protein a day. Do you have any idea how much food that is in a day? You're eating 6 times a day. You're eating 50 or so grams of protein at a clip. It's nuts. That is way too much protein for the average person to eat, unless you're, a world-class Olympic bodybuilder, training for the Mr. Olympia competition. You don't need that. So just take this number 1 or 0.5 and multiply it times your lean body mass. I hope I didn't confuse you too much. Number 3, adjust your fats up or down. So what happens is, a lot of questions I get, people say, I'm hitting a plateau. I'm not losing weight anymore. What do I do? Chances are you're probably eating too much fat, so you might want to cut back on your fat a little bit, because if you're eating too much dietary fat, you're not going to burn your body fat, okay? Does that make sense? So you want to turn to your body fat, so don't take in as much dietary fat. Cut back a little bit and see how you do, and adjust up or down whether you're losing weight or not. That's simple. These 3 steps is really all it is. Okay? Calculate your macros. Make sure you have adequate amounts of protein depending on what your goal is. If you want to build a lot of muscle, keep it at that 1.0. Not as much muscle, keep it at 0.5. Okay? Next, maybe take some exogenous ketones. Exogenous means it's coming from outside the body. Okay? Exogenous means you're actually taking a supplemental ketone. Now, how do we do this? Well, Perfect Keto is a great brand. I love Perfect Keto. It's a great, great band. I'll include the link below so you can get, if you want to order this product off of Amazon, it's fantastic. But it helps with fatigue, because your body's taking in ketones that are going right to your brain to give your body energy. When you take in ketones, it's instant energy for your body. It really doesn't have to get converted. It's ready to roll. So it gives your body energy immediately, helps with recovery. Okay, so ketones, like I talked about, this is primarily beta-hydroxybutyrate. As I mentioned before, it helps with the recovery, helps shed excess weight, controls hunger and cravings. All right, there's parts of your brain, and I talked about this on one of my previous videos, as to which are the best fats to eat to get you into ketosis. There's parts of your brain that are stimulated or actually inhibited that create hunger. So when you're taking in the right ketones, it actually inhibits your hunger. So this will help you with cravings. Supplies your brain with energy. Once again, your brain loves to run off of ketones. So if you're taking in ketones, this is one of the reasons why MCT oil is so good, because it's taken in so quickly and it's converted right away into ketones. So it's instant energy for your body. Now, it's not a real long-term energy. That's why you need other types, you can't just live off of MCT oil, all right? So your brain can use this very, very easily, and it's a fantastic, fantastic fuel source. Also boosts your cognitive performance. Another brain function, you want to make sure your brain is just, firing on all cylinders, so this works really well for that. Next, intermittent fasting. This is a great way to help build muscle. Why? Because the way our body works is when you put your body under a little bit of stress, like fasting. Now, it doesn't mean you're not going to eat for 4 or 5 days. Intermittent fasting means you're just not going to eat from about 8 o'clock at night till about noon the next day. That's about the time that most people do it. You've heard me describe this before. It's about a 16-hour fast. Then you have about an 8-hour eating window. So for example, you go 8 o'clock till noon the next day, so 8 p.m. the night before till noon the next day of not eating, which you're asleep anyway, so you're not going to feel it, you're not going to notice it. I then go work out because I like to work out in a fasted state. So when you work out in a fasted state, it helps counteract muscle aging and wasting and boost fat burning. Not only that, what also intermittent fasting does is this: it helps to stimulate growth hormone. So research has shown that 24 hours of consuming no calories, growth hormone levels are increased by 2,000%. So great way to build muscle. So once again, we're looking to build muscle with the ketogenic diet. You team it up with intermittent fasting, and it is a powerful, powerful tool to build muscle and burn fat at the same time. Growth hormone rises in correlation with testosterone, and once again, like I said earlier, is highly anabolic. Highly anabolic. So it is muscle building. So I hope you guys learned a lot. I know I went pretty quickly through this information, and I hope it didn't confuse you too much when it came to how to calculate your macros, especially your protein. But anyway, if you have any questions, just let me know right into the comments section, and keep those comments coming. I'll tell you what, I'm going to have to open up or give you my email address so you guys can send me before and after pictures, because I'm starting to see those now, and I am just blown away by how you guys are doing out there. You are total keto rock stars. I love and appreciate you guys. I've never seen more transformations in my life, and I'm really, really thankful for that. And that's really what this whole channel is about, is creating a community so you guys can learn off each other, learn off of me, and just build a camaraderie with this. So anyway, thank you so much. I love and appreciate you. I hope you got a ton of information out this show. If so, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. I love and appreciate you. I'll see you next time. This is Dr. Nick. Bye-bye.